Welcome to Punk Revolutionaire's album of the year list. The top 20 albums of 2022. 2020222. Lots of twos and zeros. Top 22. Top 20 albums of 2022. This is an epic list. Oh, I love this. I love this time of year. Isn't it amazing? It's the most epic time of the year. Punk Revolution now is making a list and checking it twice, listening to music, and putting it on a list. The top 20 albums of 2022. By the way, if your favorite album isn't on this list, don't leave a mean comment. We only have 20 slots to fill in the list of 20. And if it's not on the list, maybe it was 20, maybe it was number 21 or 22, and it would have been a good album. But I literally, it's like mathematically impossible to put 21 albums on a list of 20. So anyways, now that we got the epic introduction out of the way, let's start by saying, brace yourself, because we have a list. And number 20 is a little cheeky of a choice. And don't get mad at me, but it is Joker Card's Very Painful Tricks. And the reason this is a cheeky choice is, one, first off, it's an EP, not an album. And second off, it's my EP. I was the one who recorded it and wrote it and released it. It's all me. And my friend Altfather, who did the rapping. Sorry, I had to do it. I wanted to put it higher in the list because I really like this EP. It's mine, so of course I like it. But I figured that would get mad. So I'm just going to throw that one out there, number 20. And we'll just get it out of the way. It's a fun IDM. It's a freaking phenomenal, genius IDM album. Okay, we're taking the hat off a little bit. So I hope you're enjoying the video so far. Tell me, what is your favorite EP or album of the list so far? And we're finally at number 19. We are getting through the list. Number 19 is Violet Pony's what was this album called? I always forget. Violet Pony's Can Opener's Notebook, Fish Whisperer. So, a little weird title, but it's a cute title, going along with a cute album. I really appreciate this album a lot. Lots of people, I think, are gonna incorrectly dismiss it as cringe because it's My Little Pony based. Look at me. Don't I look like someone you can trust who can tell you what's cringe and what's not cringe? Violet Pony is a talented musician. I love her music because you can just tell she is someone who has a great appreciation for art and music, and her albums are lots of variation going on musically with indie-tronica and IDM and dubstep, and very emotional, like a kind of like a narrative driving the story of a pony called Can Opener. Yeah, it's actually good, so go listen to it, and don't dismiss a book by its cover just because you were told by trolls on Twitter that My Little Pony isn't cool. I haven't watched My Little Pony ever, so I am not going to jump to the conclusion that it's a bad show just because I haven't seen it, and I'm not going to dismiss the work of an artist because of what the internet tells me is cool and not cool. So, as you can see, I am an open-minded person. 18 is DJ Sabrina, the Teenage DJ's album, Bewitched. DJ Sabrina's The Teenage DJ is a fantastic electronic experimental house musician. I don't even know. It's just like whenever you put on one of her albums, you're just going to get a barrage of epic, nostalgic 90s kind of vibes coming through with some like samples from sitcoms and just really nostalgic, very wholesome, happy music that has a lot of complexity to it. She's weaving together a lot of amazing samples and house music that actually builds and develops, and her albums go on for a long time, like an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours long, And the entire listen is just euphoria. Love her discography, releasing another fantastic album. This one a little bit more experimentation I'm picking up with some of the rhythms and the percussion and different synths and stuff like that. Great, fantastic to see her releasing more music. Go check out her discography and another awesome contribution to the universe of music from DJ Sabrina, the Teenage DJ. Number 17 is a punk album. Wait, your channel is Punk Revolution now and you put a punk album on your top 20? Of course I did. I put multiple punk albums on this list. Duh. This is Soulglow's Diaspora Problems. And when you listen to Soulglow's Diaspora Problems, you're going to go... It has cuss words. It's loud. It's fast. It's experimental. I'm going to say I was someone who's been following Soulglow before it was cool. And with this album, they definitely got very popular. So... kind of a bummer. It's always annoying when I'm always the cool person to suggest you should check out Soulglow, and they release an album and they get Pitchfork reviews that get lots of high scores, etc. And it's like, no! But they're post-hardcore, they're noise rock, they're experimental, they're very fun, bombastic. Just a freaking awesome, exciting, epic. You just gotta go listen to it. It's an explosion of epicness. Very abrasive, exciting, fun punk music. Number 16. Is, you already know it, King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard. King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard. Omnium Gatherum. Is that Omnium Gatherum? They've released like 70 albums this year. Omnium Gatherum. So the reason I put Omnium Gatherum on this list instead of like the a million other albums they released this year is, well, first off, I think it's actually one of their very best albums, if not their best album. Their song, The Dripping Tap, which is the opening song in this album, I just think is the most fun I ever have listening to King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard. Just fantastic guitar tone. Like, they're just rocking and rolling, and then the remainder of the album, even after the opening track, is just like a, just fantastic, displaying the versatility and creativity of King Gizzard as a band. And I feel like all their albums they released this year were really great. This album I put on this list is not particularly like 1,000 times better than the others. All of them are great. Someone tweeted saying, I like Changes. You should put Changes on the album of the year. That's a good album too. You can maybe think of this slot on the list as just King Gizzard's 2022 output in general because it's all great, but I like this one the most especially because of the Dripping Tap. So that's my reasoning for putting it on the list. Ladies and gentlemen, we are already at number 15. How the heck? What the heck? My voice just made a sound. I don't know if you'll be able to hear that in the video. Anyways, how the heck? So 15 is Chat Pile's God's Country. Another freaking fantastic band making, well, they're making noise rock, but they're making very, I don't even know, like, insane noise rock that just is dripping with excruciation and dripping with... like, it sounds like the vocalist is on the edge of just losing their freaking mind and blowing up their whole brain and going insane. Singing about homelessness and an extremely catchy, sludgy, heavy noise rock riffs. Their whole discography is fantastic. This is their debut full-length album. They have fantastic EPs out as well. Go check it out if you want to know what's good. What is the good stuff coming out this year in regards to noise rock, and just one of the best noise rock bands of this contemporary moment in music. You want to go listen to Chat Pile, so great job, Chat Pile. God Country's album is a great album. Next up on my list is Kaizo Slumber's album, The Kaizo Manifesto. This is an extremely fun album. I mean, just look at the cover. It looks like an epic kind of video game thingy, and video games are fun, and this music is obviously video game influenced, and it's a fun album because it is EDM, electronic dance music that is like, it kind of has some like vaporwave kind of tones coming in, kind of like Wii shop music kind of tones, that quirky, fun, exciting, playful. It's just a playful, fun album, and Kaizo Slumber is very creative, has a lot of fun with it. It's one of the most fun albums I've heard of all year. Innovative, creative, it's a blast. There's not much, just look at this. That is the album in general. So if you want to listen to this, and you like video games and you like electronic music, which everybody should if they have a brain, then you should go listen to Kaizo Slumber's album, The Kaizo Manifesto. Next up on my list is Angel Olsen's album Big Time. This to me was just a beautiful album, so well executed, because Angel Olsen, obviously a beautiful voice, singing kind of like psychedelic 70s Americana music, obviously a very beautiful genre. I feel like she has a very fresh take on it. Americana, kind of 70s soft psychedelic music, not necessarily always my favorite genre, but I feel like she does a very great job bringing beautiful, beautiful subtle psychedelic tones throughout this album, beautiful songwriting, beautiful singing. Just, I think it's a phenomenal album. Really caught me off guard. My favorite Angel Olsen album I've heard, Angel Awesome. And so yeah, go listen to it. Again, caught me off guard. I'm not someone who normally is thrilled by Americana. And Angel Olsen I've always thought is talented, but she's never blown me away. But Big Time basically blew me away, and that's why it's on the list of the top 20 albums of 2022. Folks, we have another punk album on the list. I love when... we're taking the hat off. It's getting hot. I always get excited when I have a punk album on the list because we're having a punk revolution. This is Otoboke Beaver's album, Super Champon. Otoboke Beaver is a Japanese hardcore punk band consisting of 4 women. An all-woman a punk band, and they're playing, which is feminist, and they're playing extremely fast, complex mathy, complex time signatures, very technically impressive hardcore music that is extremely fun, playful, but also very aggressive and just extremely technically proficient, innovative punk music. I love this album. I love Otoboke Beaver. They have been crushing it, and I hope I can see them live soon because they are dope. So definitely go listen to this. And, yeah, Otoboke Beaver. Number 11 is actually... Okay, so we're moving on to number 11, and believe it or not, this is actually another punk album. This is the Callous Daoboys, Celebrity Therapist. Callous Daoboys, they released their album Die on Mars a few years ago. Again, I was early to find this band and listen to them and know about them. And, well, how do I put this? They are literally some of... I mean, I guess they're mathcore, which is a subgenre of punk, by the way. Not metal, even though it's metal influence, it's punk still, in my opinion. They just kind of take mathcore, which is always a traditionally chaotic, fun, all over the place genre, requires a lot of talent to execute, and they just push it to the most absurd levels possible. Die on Mars is a very chaotic, goofy, maybe you can kind of say like Dillinger Escape Plan meets Mr. Bungle, fun, crazy, talented, beautiful, catchy album. And then in Celebrity Therapist, they're bringing that back, bringing all, I think it's even better than Die on Mars, bringing in more serious themes. I think it's a very innovative mathcore album. I love listening to it. It hits, when it gets heavy, it hits hard. When it gets goofy and experimental, it's hitting. When it gets emotional and melodic, it's hitting. It's just a mind-blowing, fantastic album. So, Callous Daoboys, awesome album, great job. On the list of the best albums of 2022. Number 10. Holy crap, we are now in the top 10, which means we're halfway done. Don't tell me you put Bladee and Echo 2K on the list. Why would you put Bladee and Echo 2K's album Crest on the list at number 10? Have you considered, because it's actually a freaking amazing album? I've literally listened to this album however long ago it came out, like 6 months ago or whatever, and I've had all the melodies on this album stuck in my head ever since. The production is just like it cradles you like a baby, as if you're a baby in heaven floating through space, and Echo 2K and Bladee whisper beautiful melodies in your ear, and it's very innovative pop music. Oh, don't tell me it's pop. Let's just call it cloud rap or something so it sounds cooler than pop. It's an innovative album, and you know, Bladee and Echo 2K and the whole Drain Gang crew have obviously had a huge influence on music and have been releasing a lot of stuff, very prolific crew. And I think this is the best output I've ever heard from Drain Gang. Obviously, I'm putting it on my list, and I just really love it. I just really love this album. That's right, I said love it, because I love it, and that's why it's in the top 10, okay? Number 9 is City of Caterpillar's Mystic Sisters. This album caught me off guard, but I was blown away by it because City of Caterpillar first released their debut album like 20 years ago, maybe more than 20 years ago, and that's just an iconic cornerstone in the genre of screamo and post-rock, the way it combines screamo and post-rock so beautifully. The intensity of screamo, I think, goes together like peanut butter and jelly with post-rock, which is post-rock as a genre, very dynamic. So you take the intensity of screamo and incorporate that into your dynamics of post-rock, and you have a beautiful formula for amazing music. Their debut album is a classic, and they came out of nowhere in 2022 with a follow-up to their legendary debut, and in my opinion, their follow-up is wonderfully executed. Sounds like they are as genius as always. As a huge fan of post-hardcore and screamo and these genres, I was thrilled by this album, absolutely thrilled. And I had low expectations going in because it's hard to follow up on an album after 20 years and to play in these complicated genres and make it feel fresh and great, and that's exactly what they did. So outstanding job, City of Caterpillar. Everyone go listen to this album because it's really dope, and that's why it's in the top 10, and it's punk. So thanks for watching. Let's keep going on to the next album list. Number 8 is another cheeky choice, but I feel like I have to put this in this video because it's so important to me, which is Weezer's combined seasons 4 EPs. So I don't even think their winter EP has came out yet, or whatever one is left. So yes, these are don't kill me, okay? These are EPs, not album, and yes, I'm combining them all into one album slot, and it's Weezer, and these EPs got a lot of hate for being corny, cheesy, stupid. Weezer, Pitchfork called them, what is it, they say, yassified butt rock, or something like that. I am putting on the list, and I'm defending the choice because I loved all of these EPs that have come out. They show Weezer is still a band that is dedicated to creativity because they're very versatile releases. They're doing all sorts of stuff, dipping into different genres, extremely catchy songwriting. Yes, the production and lyrics and all this stuff is corny and it's poppy at times, and they're just, they're cringe. But like as a rock musician, and obviously as someone who just likes Weezer, Pinkerton, Blue Album, like I just feel like they're doing what's important in rock and roll. It's just to like have fun, and I genuinely hear throughout these EPs they're pushing some experimental song structures, trying different things, doing different it's not just like these are just straight up poppy Weezer EPs. These are Weezer like entering the studio with a lot of creative juices flowing, and I think they're crushing it. And I just can't believe these EPs are not getting the critical acclaim they deserve, and I think people should be applauding them as like, oh wow, Weezer is doing some of their best stuff since Pinkerton, blah 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 blah. Not seeing that discourse, so I'm gonna be the one who pushes the discourse, putting it as number 8. Weird to put the EPs on my list. I already did it with Joker Card. Weird to put 3 combined into 1, maybe 4. Hold on, wait 1 second. Yeah, so since it's not even technically winter yet, their winter EP hasn't even come out yet, so even weirder, I'm putting an album or an EP that hasn't even come out yet on my list, but I guarantee you it's good. That's how much I like the first 3 EPs, that I know they're going to do a good job with the next one. So, yes, I put an unreleased EP on my list. I don't care. It's Weezer. When you're talking about Weezer, all rules of physics and society and logic and time-space continuum is broken because Weezer is that epic. So let's move on to the next. Number 7 is Backxwash's His Happiness Shall Come First, Even Though We Are Suffering. This is the 3rd album on Backxwash's trilogy of amazing albums that are industrial hip-hop, horrorcore, very creative, very thoughtful, very detailed, dense, beautiful hip-hop, very emotional, very heavy stuff. Lots of creativity, lots of innovation. If you haven't listened to Backxwash before, go listen to the trilogy. This is her third edition on this trilogy, which is as fantastic as ever. I love the features. I love the heavy themes of religion and oppression and self-hatred. Very dark, heavy themes, but expressed beautifully through this music with phenomenal production. That's lots of, they have like a cool Mozart sample. There's just like a lot of Backxwash is just killing it. I've talked a lot about Backxwash on my channel. Nothing left to say right now about it. Just it's innovative, beautiful, emotional hip hop. Go listen to Backxwash and her new album. Number 6 on the list is Stabscotch's Prison Jar. I did a dance because I feel like that's what Stabscotch would have wanted me to do when I announced their album on the list. Stabscotch is, what a weird band, to say the least. They are, I'd say, one of the most aggressively avant-garde musician or artists on the planet right now. because every release they put out is like, what's gonna come next, and you think you understand, like, okay, it's experimental rock. What else can you do? Well, what if I told you that Prison Jar literally is going to, it's going to assault you. Prison Jar by Stabscotch is going to assault you, and you're not gonna know what hit you, and it's gonna be weird, and it's gonna be confusing and crazy. And it's going to be a long album that's dense with all sorts of jazzy punk. That's right, it's punk. And weird electronic synthy stuff and weird, horrible lyrics that are going to assault your ears about smecks. And then you're going to keep coming back over and over and over again. And you're going to be like, every time I listen to this, something else is happening to my brain that I don't know what's happening. My brain is probably getting permanent damage from this album, but I can't stop listening to it. That is Stabscotch's Prison Jar. I really don't have anything else to say about it besides I was blown away by this album, and I love re-listening to it because it is so... It's like I've listened... It's just like... Let's just move on to the next in the list, because I'm at a loss for words when talking about this album. So, yeah, let's move on. Alrighty, folks, we are in the top 5. I loved all 5 of these albums, and, it's always hard when you got the top 5 to pick which one goes where, because they're all awesome. So, just think of them as all awesome. Don't take the order too seriously, but I've thought a lot about this list, so I feel pretty confident about this order. So let's just get started with number 5, which is Foxtails, Fawn. Foxtails is a post-hardcore, screamo, experimental punk band, whatever you want to call Foxtails. It's another band I've been following before they got big. They've always had, a lot of respect in the scene of post-hardcore and screamo and experimental punk. And I feel like this album they really blew up, and deservedly so, because they've been releasing a ton of awesome music. And with this album, Foxtails, they're bringing in like a violin, viola? I don't know. They're bringing in strings. And that, it makes it almost like chamber screamo. Like, it's bringing in this new dimension to their already experimental screamo, and just, I love the opening track. It's like, we're all just like, it feels like we're charging the fascists, and we're gonna blow. I'm gonna go ahead and beep that out because I don't want YouTube to get me in trouble, but it's a great album. It's emotional, it's creative, it's beautiful. I love the vocal delivery. It just feels like it's like their most cohesive yet. I love them as a band. It makes me really happy to see not only are they improving, I'd say this is their best yet, but also they're pushing, like they're trying different things out, and they're very talented musically. Lots of really cool time signatures, and there's just like a lot of it satisfies me on so many levels as a post-hardcore lover, as a musician who loves seeing just innovation and creativity, as an emotional person who loves the emotion that comes through with these heavy lyrics. And Foxtails, I interviewed the vocalist of Foxtails, and they're a really, really fantastic, chill person. Obviously, the interview has nothing to do with the fact that I'm putting them on this list seriously. Like, I was happy I got to interview them, but like, even if I never got the chance to interview them, this would still be number 5 on my list because it's a fantastic album. And yeah, you can go watch the interview if you want. They're cool. And let's move on, because Foxtails is epic. We're moving on to number 4. Number 4 is Material Girl's I-85 mix. Was it I-85? Oh, sorry, I get the title mixed up sometimes. I-85 mix 21-22. You can see why I got that mixed up. Another album that is blowing my mind with the innovation and the experimentation. We're talking about IDM, abstract hip-hop, like Injury Reserve, but a lot of this IDM here feels a little bit more psychedelic, and it's telling this like very beautiful story from start to finish. Lots of very heavy themes here about grief and loss, and I don't know, it just kind of feels to me like it's a very heavy album. Like, it's a very messy album in a lot of ways that to me feels so authentic. Like, it's supposed to be kind of messy and jumbled and doing all these crazy things, because it's like it's coming from like the space in your mind where you're so depressed and so much at a loss that you don't know what to do with yourself on so many levels. On the emotional level, on the lyrics, when I look into that, I'm just like, it just tugs at my heart. And then listening, even if it was just like a strictly instrumental album, I think the production is beautiful. Not only is it like doing all this cool psychedelic IDM stuff, but a lot of these songs really evolve over time, a lot of variation throughout the album. It's a very beautiful work of art. It's an album that understands that music is meant to be art. And it's, even though it's messy, I think it's very cohesive ultimately what it does. And it's a very moving album. I love this album, so definitely putting it up high on my list. Go check out Material Girl. Fantastic album. Awesome job, Material Girl. I think for the top 3 of the 2022 Best Albums of the Year list, the top hat comes back on. Am I right or am I right? And let's get started. So, number 3, geez, that's a big ass. I didn't say that. Number 3 is Danger Mouse and Black Thought's album Sheet Codes. This is such an amazing album. I love this album because you have 2 legends in the genre of hip-hop coming together. You got Danger Mouse, who has worked with a ton of fantastic artists, a fantastic producer, and Black Thought, obviously one of the greatest rappers ever. 2 legends coming together and making an album that is honestly one of the best things either of them have worked on, because from start to finish, you have just phenomenal production, just beautiful, very oftentimes pretty simple loops that Danger Mouse is working with, but he just like picks and crafts a like fantastic loop, and every little detail and texture is like fuzzy and warm and nostalgic and euphoric, and you just get into that psychedelic world of fuzzy, beautiful, abstract hip-hop. And then Black Thought, from start to finish, doing his thing. You know, Black Thought is just a complex, dense rapper, lots and lots of words coming out of his mouth, fantastic creative rhymes. So it's just 2 10 out of 10 fantastic, talented acts coming together, flexing their skills cohesively in an album. Like I said, just like it's like one song after another. When I'm listening to this album, I'm like, yes, this song is amazing. 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 Oh no! 1 second. I took this off to poop, and now I have to put it back on. Come on. I've been doing a lot of neck exercises, so my neck is all big from the muscles. Come on. Ah! Come on, get. I don't have any swag right now. Come on, slip in. Don't be shy. There we go. Alrighty, we're in the top 2 now. Let's take a look at what we have here. Whew. Oh! Animal Collective's Time Skiffs is number 2 on my list. Beam, 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 beam. Animal Collective always makes me want to feel like I still gotta fix a little bit back here. Lesson number 1 of life: maximize your swagger. Swag maximized. So, Animal Collective, obviously one of my favorite artists of all time, coming out in 2022 with one of their best albums in a long time, okay? Because Animal Collective, I love them to death. I love all their output, including all their 2010s output. But some people might argue that their 2010s output isn't as experimental, mind-blowing, beautiful as some of their earlier stuff. Fine. I will concede that possibly, but Time Skiffs is actually genuinely Animal Collective coming in, and I don't know why, but Time Skiffs, it's an album that genuinely makes me like extremely emotional when I'm listening to it. Maybe because I'm a big Animal Collective fan, honestly. I just feel like there's a lot of emotion just pouring through this album. Some like Prester John, that song like is so heavy and beautiful. And just like the instrumentation here is like they're experimenting with some cool, like slightly more jazzy stuff than I've ever heard from Animal Collective. Beautiful melodies. I just think it's a phenomenal album. Like even if I wasn't an Animal Collective fan, you know, just excluding the context of their amazing discography, like just listening to this, I just it's dark, psychedelic, beautiful, slightly kind of mysterious and jazzy at times. They've been definitely experimenting with some darker tones throughout their more recent stuff, but it's still like, it's very melancholy. Like, it's still catchy and stuff. It's not like dark in like a noisy, abstract, scary way. It's dark in like a melancholy way. It feels very mature. And they're still like having fun with it, doing lots of weird kind of, like, there's a song with a little auto-tune flair in it at one point. They're doing lots of stuff. But, you know, I'm an emotional guy, and this music to me, the vocal delivery, and it just feels like it's just Animal Collective coming out and just pouring their emotions out in a very trippy, psychedelic way. And I love it. So I was thrilled with this album. Number 2 on my list. I love it. One of the albums from this year that I just come back to pretty much all the time. It really warms my heart because I already loved Animal Collective's discography. Wasn't sure if they were ever going to release anything else that really thrilled me super much, just because, I don't know, I feel like they've already released so much great music. They can retire if they want. I don't care. But they gifted us with another fantastic album, so blew me away. Really thrilled with this. Yeah, Animal Collective is still kicking ace. They also released a great EP last year, and they've got some great solo stuff coming out too. Animal Collective rocks, okay? And did someone say we just finished number 2 on the list? Which technically brings us to number 1, the best album of 2022, according to Punk Revolution Now, and Punk Revolution Now has listened to all the music the most. So we have to open up. Okay. Number 1 on the list. And if you skipped all the way to this part of the video, shame on you. You gotta go watch the whole video. And also, if you made it this far in the video, please like, comment, subscribe. It helps my videos a lot. You can make my day by subscribing. And we are finally at number 1. Number 1 is Big Thief. What is this? How do you... All these damn album titles this year are so hard. Big Thief, Dragon, New Warm Mountain, I Believe in You. Big Thief, Dragon, New Warm Mountain, I Believe in You. Big ass warm dragon, I believe in you. Big warm dragon is a thief. The Big Thief of the Mountain is an album. The Big Warm album. The Big Thief Warm Dragon album, I believe in the Big Thief. Why are you believing in a thief? If the dragon is a big warm thief, then why would you believe? It has an album. The Big Thief Warm album. The Big Warm Thief Dragon album Thief. The Big Thief Warm album, I believe in the Big Thief album Dragon. Why is the dragon warm? Is the dragon warm because it is a big thief? You get what I'm saying here? Big Thief. If you asked me 3 years ago what I thought of Big Thief, I would probably say some pretty meh. Wasn't a Big Thief fan, a big Thief fan, because their previous stuff, and you know, even this album too is indie folk with some like subtle psychedelic kind of influences coming in, very soft, beautiful voice, beautiful acoustic guitar. That's all nice stuff. Not necessarily the most innovative stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I love indie folk, but when you have like just a quirky little gentle indie folk band getting Best New Music on Pitchfork in 2019, I'm like, I'm not thrilled, you know? So, FYI, Big Warm Ass Dragon, The Thief, I Believe in You, their newest album that came out this year, blew me away. Because as a music critic, I gotta be open-minded. I have to, all right? So if there's a band I have preconceived notions about what I don't like about them, and they release a new album, I'm going to listen to it with an open mind, and I'm not going to dismiss it before I even listen to it and say, this is a band I didn't find cool 3 years ago, so therefore I'm not going to find this new good. I'm not like that. So when they released this album, it's an hour and 20 minutes long. That's twice as long as your average album. And from start to finish, they are pouring their heart out in every single song with delicious songwriting. Melodies and chords that just hit. Like, literally, lots of the songs on this album feel like instant classics. Like, you listen to it and it's just the song you're going to remember forever. Abstract lyrics about space and time and life. And, well, what I think it makes it so good is and I've said this before, if you just take this is such an important thing. This is such an important thing when writing an album. If you take any of these songs on this album and you just literally have the band perform it with like just a straight up acoustic guitar and singing and maybe some simple drums and a simple bass, the bare bones of the song, all these songs are just gonna pop. Because the melodies are there, the chords are there, the lyrics are there. The fundamentals of the song pop. Okay? And then you do that for 2 hours, and that's a fantastic album in its own right. But Big Thief, they are incorporating a healthy amount of experimentation in there, okay? They have some kind of like weird, kind of clingy, clangy strings, kind of beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, boop. In some of their songs, maybe some kind of shoegazy, kind of like reverby, kind of wow, 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 kind of coming in there too. Maybe a 7/4 time signature here and there. Maybe a cool riff that's like, you know, like it's an album that songwriting wise, it just knocks out of the park. Melodies are going to be stuck in your head forever. Beautiful performance from every musician. Production is just flawless. And then a healthy amount of experimentation from start to finish, and a healthy amount of variation, and it's just an achievement. It's just like as a musician, from one musician looking to another, I'm just like, wow, bravo, bravo. Bravo, Big Thief. Yeah, so I don't know. I was just floored by this, and every time I listen to it, I'm like, damn. This is so good. And it just keeps going. It's just the album that keeps on giving. It's just stunning. So beautiful stuff, Big Thief. Great album. That's why I'm giving it Album of the Year. Isn't an obscure choice? Is it obscure? No. Did Pitchfork also like it? Yes. Unfortunately, it's not the most hipster choice. Because it is an album that's well known, by a band that's well known. But, look. The point of the punk revolution isn't to just trash stuff because it's popular. The point is to trash stuff that is bad and popular, which is like 99% of stuff. And this is not that. It's okay, shut up. Just stop. Just shut up. I put like 5 punk albums on this list, all right? So shut up. Okay, well, I have so much swag. Punk revolution now swag. Punk revolution now swag. Well, this has been my list of the best 20 albums to come out this year. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll put the list in the comments, description, not in the comments, in the description. And Vagine. I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. I always appreciate that. If you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. Don't tell me you skipped it. If you skipped the video, go back from the beginning and watch the whole thing all over again. And don't skip a minute. Because every single artist on this album deserves the love. And also, even if they're not on the list, they deserve the love. If your favorite album of the year didn't come on this list, don't panic. It's probably good. I just didn't have enough spots. I decided to occupy one of the slots with my own EP because I'm selfish like that. And Weezer because I'm crazy like that. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Punk Revolution. Here's the punk, it never fails, it makes me want to list albums. And when I have an album, I go epic.